nationality that comes to America, they know who they are. And if any of your children are sitting in integrated classrooms today, all of those little nationalities in that classroom know who they are, and your child does not know. How many of you remember being colored? Remember the colored days? See, most everybody remembers colored days. I mean, we were real important in colored time, weren't we? I mean, we had colored town. It was always on the other side of the tracks, but we had our own colored town. We had things named after us as colored people. We had colored waiting rooms. So a lot of other people didn't have that. We had our own room, colored waiting room. We even had water fountains couldn't nobody else drink from but us. I mean, we had it made in those days. Hey, look, all you other nasty breath people, get away from our fountain. Now, this is a colored water fountain. You better get away from here, right? We didn't know how fortunate we were. You'd be drinking A's today, all these other folk. Integrated A's. We were world renowned with our name, the colored people. We had organizations named after us all across the planet, right? Everybody. National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Wasn't that awesome? I think that organization's still hanging around. Colored organization. And when we looked at our driver's license, what was on it? Say, what's your nationality? What did we have on there? Colored, the big C. Got ready to go out the country? What's your nationality? Boy, colored. Pull out the driver's license. Hey, I'm colored, sir. Is that real? Colored days. So I began to walk around the country as I'm going around the country now, and I asked some of the leaders, well, I know you're colored. I say, now, do you have a colored name? I say, no. I said, well, Japanese, say they Japanese. They have Japanese name. Chinese, say they have Chinese name. I said, well, okay. Do you speak Colourese? They said, no. I said, well, Japanese speak Japanese. Chinese speak Japanese. You know? Spanish people speak Spanish. Why are you so different? You trying to be funny, man? No, I'm not being funny. I'm asking a question. It's logical. Well, is there a place on the map called Colored Land? I said, no. I've never seen a colored land. You ever seen colored land? No. So everybody else has a land. Japanese have Japan. Chinese have China. Mexicans have Mexico. You know, Cubans have Cuba. Where's your colored land? Hey, they don't have none. So they got together and said, it's kind of dangerous to be colored around Yahweh Ben Yahweh. They said, we better come up with something else. So they all the black think tank, you know, we have some intellectuals, they get together and they come up with what we're supposed to think over the next few years from the think tank. So they came up with, after that, they came up with, what was that? Negro. And they looked on a map in Africa and it said Niger. The Niger River, that's what I heard, Niger River. And it said Niger, N-I-G-E-R. So that's too close to nigger, you know, N-I-G-G-E-R. So they come up with Negro. Negro. How many remember Negro days? Remember the Negro? Well, we were big time when we were Negroes, weren't we? We had stopped being colored and became Negroes. Lost our water fountain. Lost our colored waiting room. I mean, gosh, we lost Color Town. It was rough. I mean, we just lost it right then, became Negroes. So I walked around the country again. I said, well, look, do you have a Negro name? He said, no. I said, well, you took on a new identity. What's your nationality? Negro. But do you speak Negroese? No. Everybody else speaks a language after what they are, after their nationality. Well, is there a land called Negro land? We hollered, no. They said, boy, Yahweh Ben Yahweh got us again. So they had to call another meeting. And while they trying to meet, one of the brothers came up with a thing, had some hooks on some prongs on the bottom, with a black power fish that had fish at the top. What was that called? Pigs, yeah, you know, hair pigs. What kind was that called? Afro. How many remember the Afro Day? Dashiki Day. Yeah. Boy, that was it, wasn't it? Then the brothers, we got a little money, went over to Africa. Guess what we found out? Wasn't one African wearing an afro. Wasn't no Africans were wearing dashikis. So the brothers came back to America and said, hey man, nobody in Africa is wearing dashikis. Nobody in America is wearing afros. Said, look at the afro pick. It was made in Hong Kong. They ran another game on us. Look at this. So they came out with another thing. Boy, I began to sing songs. You know, something that we were singing songs. I don't want nobody to give me nothing. Just open the door and I'll get it myself. Woo! Yeah. Right? I'm black and I'm proud. I'm black and I'm proud. Say it again. I'm black and I'm proud. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. Woo! Woo! How many remember the black days? How many remember the black days? Yeah, yeah. How many black folk we have in here tonight? Kind of scared. You got one black? No. I'm scared about being anything right now. I'm raising some heavy questions. So we come up with this black thing. Yeah, so then I worked around the country again. You know what I asked by now, don't you? Do you have a black name? No. Well, do you speak Black East? No. Well, is there a black land on the map anywhere? No. So then black power ceased to be a big thing because we found out we didn't have green power. What is black power without green power? So what did the think tank get together to do? So black folks then begin to walk around talking about, I'm an Afro-American. See, by this time, we waking up now, you know, what's your nationality now? Well, I'm not colored. See, I found out I wasn't colored. I found out I wasn't a Negro, and I found out I wasn't black. But I'm from Africa somewhere, so I'm an Afro-American. You have Japanese-American, Indian-American, Chinese-American, Cuban-American, so I'm an Afro-American. The think tank wasn't going for Afro because, you know, that didn't sound too cool. You couldn't put that together, you know, like, do you speak Afro? So they got together, and 2 years ago, what they come up with? African American. So all the great black leaders said, this ought to shut Yahweh Ben Yahweh up, the word Africa. Right? That should shut me down, shouldn't it? That's what they said. So I came around, I asked them, do you speak African? That's what I've been asking these last 2 years. Do you speak African? No. So right, nobody in Africa speaks African. Nobody over on that continent speaks African. Not one person. They all speak tribal languages. You know, like Swahili. Like Mandela speaks Bantu. See, every one of them has a tribe that takes them back to their ownership, ancestral ownership of the entire continent of Africa, coming all the way from Ham down to today. So they speak a dialect of their tribe. Nobody speaks African. So my next question was, yeah, we waiting on you. Come on. Come on with your next question, Yahweh Ben Yahweh. Come on. I said, well, do you have an African name? Yes. Nkrumah. Yeah, with the name of all these people, you know, said, no, you're wrong again. Those are not African names. Those are tribal names. Every single name identifies the tribe. Now, they're blacker than us, right? But although they all look alike, same nappy hair, yet they come from different tribes. Say, okay, we waiting on you about this land thing. Come on with that. Come on with this map thing. Let me hear you tell me that is there a map with Africa on it? I got plenty of maps to show you with that name on it. That ought to shut you down. That should shut me down, shouldn't it? You're looking at me kind of like, yeah, I don't believe that shut him down. You're right, it didn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. Because I have to ask you a question. How long has that continent been called Africa? You look on ancient maps, and that name is not there. It hasn't always been called Africa. Therefore, that's not its name. Since it's not always been called Africa, then you have to ask another question. Who named it Africa? The same people that named you Culpepper, Underwood, Greenleaf, Mr. Green, Mr. Brown, and Mr. Black. That's who. And a people that don't know where they come from can't know where they're going. When you don't know where you've been, you don't know what you come from, so you can't get back to it.
No. Before Europeans, if you go back prior to 1970 and look at the maps of Africa, they didn't used to have Africa written across the whole map. They used to have Nubia written across the entire map.
That's
so when I'm saying, okay.
It's not true.
Are you sure it's not true?
I'm sure, because
let me finish. So if we go and pull it up, because it's on the computer, and they're going to pull it up on PowerPoint.
You can pull it up.
So if it comes on that screen, will you say, brother, you were right?
I will tell you, but Nubian people come from Sudan.
No.
And
you're confusing the tribe called Nubian, and that amongst that tribe called Nubian, there's the Biga. There's the people from Juba. There's the Hendendawa. There's the Donongala. There's the Ithir or Afar. There's the Effendi. There's different clans within that one tribe that's calling themselves Nubian today. Just like when you say Mandingo or Madingo, the Mandingo have the Pele, the Va, the Loma, the Bassa, the Ma, the Madinka, the Madinka. There's so many different people, but they all call themselves Madingo, but they have clusters or clans from a certain Baba or Obia, a certain father who fathers a clan going back to the king. This was African history. So when you're speaking about Africa and you just say a tribe, each tribe has a sub-clan. If you say Yoruba, the Yoruba have a system of rulership that changes every certain amount of years. A different Obia's family comes to the power in Yoruba land. But if you're not Yoruba, you wouldn't know that. So you just can't grab something and say, well, there's a tribe called Nubian. No.
We are a nation within a nation in this country searching for a nationality. And once we find our nationality and serve that nationality, we'll do for ourselves what needs to be done. All ethnic groups in this country understand they got a nationality. Because you answer to such stupid words like Negro and colored and black. You have no nationality. Negro is not a nationality. Some lazy Portuguese or Spaniard took an adjective and made a noun out of it. Colored is not a nationality. Black tells you how you look, but it don't tell you who you are. That's right. The name of a people must relate them instantaneously to land, history, and culture. And anytime you call a people by their right name, anytime you call a people, name a people, and fail to relate them back to land, history, and culture, you have called them out of their name. There's no black land or black hole of it. There's nothing wrong with the word black. Nothing wrong with it at all. Only it doesn't relate to a country. The name of every people in the world relate to country. And once you think instantaneously of land, you think of nationality. You belong to something big in the world. But how did you get into the predicament that you're in today, where you are totally unprepared to handle a nation? What I am talking about tonight is how you lost the concept of controlling a nation. Until you get back the concept of nation formation and nation management, you're going to have difficulty. You have to prepare to control every single item in a nation that needs to hold that nation together. How many locksmiths you got there? People have to be trained in every aspect of nation management, including the sweeping of the street, sewage system, drainage system, water supplies, all of this. This makes up a nation. Now, the black man I want you to look at again, because each one in his own way was preparing us for nation management. And had we looked at each one and accepted each one on the basis of his contribution and stopped arguing about who was fighting who, we would have been close to a time where we might have been ready for the 21st century. And when we go back now and look at Booker T. Washington, look at the school at Tuskegee, he was preparing black people to sustain themselves on a nation basis. You live in a brick house, own a brick yard, learn how to manage a brick yard. You wear shoes made of leather, learn how to tan leather, learn how to take leather straight from a cow, tan it and make it into a good shoe. Many students walked to Tuskegee, they were so poor. They walked across 3 states and got to Tuskegee, they barefooted. And what did Booker T. Washington do? Started a shoe repair shop and later a shop showing people how to design shoes. Most of the black orthopedic shoe makers in this country were trained at Tuskegee. I'm talking about the craft that you need in order to run a whole nation.
It's over. So cut the crap and form your own nation where you control the things that happen to you. You have that right. If they want to go religious, you say you have that God-given right that makes them feel better. They try to take your stuff. I'm not telling you by saying don't violate the law. I'm not telling you become no chump. Defend yours. That's what the Constitution tells you. And if you're not satisfied, you raise up and form your own militia. But it must be well regulated. Don't get no bunch of coots putting on no uniform, running around with no AK-47s and blowing up innocent people. That is not the way to do it. There is a way to get your point across, and it's by the mind, not by weapon and death. It's by love. It's by concern. It's by compassion. Something has been strained out of us when they were shaking the spaghetti. We think it's cool to be uncompassionate. We think it's cool to be tough and uncaring and unconcerned, and that's not real. Love really does conquer all.